Welcome to Part 4 of Star Wars. Knights of the Old Republic. War fever infects the galaxy. We join Kace and his Mandalorian Knights aboard the stolen Republic ship, Reciprocity. As they prepare to invade Dantooine and kidnap the Jedi younglings, Kace makes a rousing speech about overthrowing the corrupt Republic. To his surprise, Sornell enters the bridge. She says that Kace wanted only the best warriors on this mission, and she is one of the best. Kace has no idea that Zayne and her have agreed to help each other. Back on Halthor, we see an old Mandalorian soldier collecting armor to put into storage. When he enters the building, Zayne, who has been hiding there, uses his force powers to influence the soldier to leave the armor there and bring helmets as well. Zayne returns to Captain Morvis and the rest of the captured crew with the Mandalorian armor. He tells them to put it on and outlines a plan to commandeer one of the dreadnoughts, which, strangely, involves some of the bile rats too. The Mandalorians have been feeding them. Morvis is skeptical. Later that night, the Mandalorians send shuttles to the planet's surface to pick up troops for the dreadnought, Padawans. Zayne, Morvis, and the others plan to sneak aboard dressed as Mandalorian soldiers. When one of the crew calls Zayne, Sir, Morvis loses his cool. He says that he's worked his way up the ranks to get where he is, but Zayne always puts them in dangerous situations without suffering any consequences himself. Zayne retorts that the soldiers Morvis commands don't follow him because they believe in him or his cause, but because they have no choice. He tells Morvis that ought to make him more sympathetic to his men and behave like a true leader. Ultimately, Morvis decides to follow Zayne so that he can finally do some good for the Republic. Once aboard the dreadnought, Padawans, they find their way to the bridge. There, they see a Mandalorian field marshal bad-mouthing Kace and the Jedi to his men. Zayne takes this opportunity to confront him, pretending to have joined their side. He accuses the field marshal of questioning direct orders, and when the commander berates him, Zayne uses the Force to lift him off his feet. Morvis loudly admonishes Zayne for doing that to such a high-ranking officer, and Zayne says that he's worried now because, quote, things happen when he uses the Force too much. This is all part of their plan. Suddenly, Carrick enters. They didn't expect him to be here, and he knows that Zayne is supposed to be on Fidacom. This development puts their plan into fast forward, and Zayne holds his head as if in pain. He makes a big fuss and says that his using the Force has triggered Jedi brain fever. Morvis removes his helmet, revealing what appears to be a mass of melting brain tissue. But we know this is actually the bile rats too that they had collected. One of the other soldiers appears to shoot him. This seems to set off a wave of this Jedi brain fever, with more soldiers removing their helmets to reveal their melting brains. Zayne says that dead bodies spread the disease faster, and that the Mandalorians need to get off the ship as fast as they can. In this way, he secures control of the dreadnought. It turns out that the soldier who shot Morvis was one of their own men, and he had set his blaster to stun. We see Morvis and Zayne share a rare moment of camaraderie in the aftermath of this ruse. It looks like they're finally starting to understand one another. Meanwhile, Reciprocity has reached Dantooine. The Jedi send out their local defense squadron since they weren't expecting Kace, but Kace sweet talks the Jedi into letting him land. He asks Sornell if the dreadnoughts are on their way. Sornell gets a message about what happened on Padawans, but we see her hesitate. We know that she's uncomfortable with Kace's plan to target younglings, and that Zayne and her have formed a bond in the time they spent together. In the end, she doesn't tell Kace. She says that the dreadnoughts are on their way. And that's where Part 4 of Knights of the Old Republic, War, ends. Join us next time for the thrilling conclusion to this series. This video is sponsored by Shenyang Creations. Every year, Shenyang showcases classical Chinese dance with hundreds of performances in theaters worldwide. Now you can view the performances online. Use our code to get a discount. Visit shenyangcreations.com, use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description below, and use the code IN91. Hurry, offer ends soon.